Welcome back, everyone. My name is Adam, Rusmin.
Hello.
Victor.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about this article that we saw online. It's on the Straits Times. It's about this DBS report that says that the Singapore dollar could reach parity with the US dollar in 2040, I think.
Yeah, and STI can hit 10,000.
10,000, the index hit 10,000. So that's pretty interesting. I think a few comments I saw online whether this was going to happen. We're going to discuss that. But before we jump into that, we wanted to make a public service announcement because there's someone impersonating my friend here, Rusmin. And we needed to make an announcement because this is pretty serious, because this person is basically impersonating us, the fifth person, and Rusmin specifically. And there's this, I think it's a Telegram channel or something, giving out stock tips or stuff like that.
And I have my father-in-law friends asking me what stocks am I recommending.
So we want to make sure that we just want to make very clear that this has nothing to do with us. These are scammers out there that just impersonating us. If you ever want to know whether something is official, you can always go to our website, fifthperson.com. And if you go to the top right corner, there are all our official channels are listed there. Our YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, TikTok, LinkedIn even, I think. All the official channels are there. So if you're not sure whether some guy approaching you on WhatsApp or TikTok is actually Rusmin, go check that. And obviously, I mean, Rusmin's not going to
I'll never do that.
You'll never do it anyway. So anything you want to say about this, Rebecca Reader?
How the police catch you?
So anyway, we just make it very, very clear, because don't fall for these things. Don't give out any information. Lots of scammers out there. All right. So don't fall for that. Okay, just wanted to make that very, very clear. And now we're going to jump back into the report. So basically, the DBS report is saying that we could hit parity. And what would that mean for our STI and the stock market? So what do you guys think?
I think to begin with, for Singapore, this DBS report is 100 over pages, and I actually read them, and it was a good report. And I think most people should go and read it. At least you know that what assumption that they are making. Right. So for the STI itself, I think right now we are at about 4,500 mark at the time of this recording, and the report basically says that we could hit 10,000, right, by 2040. Oh man, I'll be like in my early 50s by then. Something that I not look forward to, but I'm looking forward to the 10,000 STI index. Okay, because I know we do have exposure in Singapore, and that also means that the prices will have gone up. Dividends might have gone up as well. Okay, so I look forward to the day. Right. So again, this is a projection, right? And it's on the basis that if the STI, the component index, the 30 companies continue to grow at earning per share of around 5% a year. Okay, and this is also assuming that the PE ratio for STI stays at around 14.5. Okay, and this is basically the assumptions is made based on the past data. Okay, the way I look at it, because I have this Straits Times data valuation PE ratio over the last 20 over years, I think the average is about 14 point something there about. Okay, so it's quite I would say that it's quite reasonable.
It's a reasonable valuation.
Yes,
to hit the 10,000.
And they are also assuming that EPS growth rate about 5%, which I think is possible, achievable. All right, but of course there are bear case and bull case that they are using the assumption over there, right? But this is the one that catch the headline, so I think we're going to focus on that. And of course they also say that the report economic size of the Singapore is expected to more than double, right? In to about 1.2 trillion to 1.4 trillion by 2040. Right? No one knows whether we will get there. Okay, but again, this is just an assumption, and I think the assumption is quite. It's not like overly bullish or it's like too aggressive. It's quite reasonable.
So that's what you read in the report, and it's actually, so some people might not actually read the report like you did, 100 pages. They see the headlines like, wow, 10,000, sure not, but you actually had a look at it, and it kind of is not outlandish.
I think the way we get there, maybe most people would think like, STI will slowly progress there, but the actual way we're going to go throughout the next 14-15 years, it's going to be like that cycle.
So I think whether the STI will hit 10,000 or not, to be honest, you will never know one. I don't even know what I'm going to eat next week. You don't talk about 2040. Okay, I mean it's good to see the projection is very reasonable, right? But I can tell you that the 10,000 may go further or come nearer. Right? It really depends on the markets and depends on the sentiment or how people view the markets. If people get very bullish about the markets, I think you will reach 10,000 very early, right? But the key is to just get an understanding, then just take it as a pinch of
Yeah,
salt.
the report do say that they have their own reasoning, right? Backed by Singapore global connectivity, the world-class financial center, and then we are also leading in the technology, especially the Gen AI deployment, right? And also the real estate market here is also quite vibrant, right? So you also listed down a lot of companies that could benefit in the next 15 years, okay? Which is, I think that's why it's a good report, because they highlighted a few companies, so they are giving stock tips there.
So you want to look at find out what the tips are, you to read the report.
Yes.
100 pages. We're not going to tell you, you're going to read it yourself.
Yeah, we're going to leave the link there,
Okay.
so that it's easier for you to find the link to the report itself.
I think one of the things that the report mentioned is that our economy is actually a little bit becoming more diversified.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the gains, a lot of people that focus on the STI is usually the banks, but actually there are other companies that have potential to grow as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
In this and in other sectors in the Singapore
But
economy.
I think the thing about this 10,000 is I think is sort of possible, but we don't know when, right?
Okay.
It's because I think throughout the years, I think the past 1 or 2 years, a lot of the STI companies have started to transform to more asset-light. I think when you transform more asset-light, I think growth will tend to come.
Yeah,
right?
This is also covered in the report, where I think they kind of says that, it's just like capital investment. It used to be like they have development arm, and now they are actually moving towards an asset management model, where they're also setting up funds. So there are a few other companies also in the STI component index, which also highlight one of the reasons why I think the report is quite bullish on this, right? And also the MAS recent initiative to boost the small to mid cap companies, right? And that could benefit fund flows coming to the Singapore, right? So they give a lot of evidence, and so generally I think it's quite reasonable. It's just that the way when we get to that 10,000 mark, like I said, it's not going to be like one straight line up, okay? It's going to be up and down, right? Because there's going to be a lot of news flow, good and bad.
Okay, but could you say that 10,000 will happen? It's a question of when instead of if, because inflation alone will basically push prices up and everything.
You don't know, is it early or later? That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct.
But based on this report, actually, it's a reasonable
15 years, I think possible we could have achieved it, but again, no one knows. It's all prediction.
Okay, so obviously the implications that if this does well, then naturally our economy is doing well. The stocks in the Singapore economy and the Singapore stock market are doing well. That's good. That's good news overall, right?
Yeah. So like even for the financial market itself, like the banks, I think, which made up a bulk of the STI constituents, I think that alone is the Singapore by itself is going to continue to attract a lot of funds coming in.
So the other thing about the report is that they mentioned that the Sing dollar could hit parity with USD. So on one hand, obviously, vacations to the US would be a lot cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think we want to focus more on how would that impact our stock market and economy?
Yeah, I think the thing, a lot of question I get is people worry, should I pull back my money from the US market and goes back to Singapore? Because if it hits parity, the Forex will kill me and all this, right? The thing about Forex depreciation is it tends to be gradual, right? There's exceptional case like maybe Japan or Indonesia, they suddenly just jump up.
Or the Asian financial crisis.
Yeah. Or the time got one period, I think just few years back, the rupiah just jumped past 10,000 on a single week or something like that.
Okay.
That will be a big impact. But usually Forex is very gradual one. So let's say you were to look at the Forex chart here, the Sing dollar to USD. So back in 2017 January, right, the one USD is about $1.45 Singapore dollar.
Okay.
Right now it's about 129. So it basically Singapore dollar strengthened, right? So it depreciated about 1.32%.
The USD, the
USD
depreciated.
Correct.
Okay.
Against Singapore. So if you count in terms of absolute amount, it's about more than 10% drop from 2017, 8 years plus.
Okay.
Right. But in these 8 years, the S&P 500 net return, that means the growth of the S&P 500 inclusive of dividend reinvestment, just the index itself, not the stock, is 14.8%. Right. So I think sometimes with this gradual depreciation of 1.32% per annum, right, and you got this growth, it can really cover up the thing, unless you don't believe in the US economy, right? So they say from now all the way to 2040, it will hit parity. That means $1.29 to $1. So that will be roughly about 1.68% depreciation per annum.
Yeah.
Right. So I think at the end, right, US economy still, despite the strengthening of the Sing dollars, right, but the US is still a place where most company growth are there.
The best companies are
the best company, because it's the way the countries operate. it operates in a very free structure, and people can just keep testing and make mistake. And that's how you build a lot of entrepreneur out there.
But I think the thing about the US is that they have this entrepreneurial culture that allows them to, like you say, test new ideas, disrupt industries and companies. But the moment one of them hits success, it just scales massively across the US, just like that. One singular market, over 300 million people. And usually, if you're successful in the US, you go global as well.
Yes, correct.
So a lot of the best companies are there.
Yeah.
So I think the main point that I think what Victor is trying to highlight is that if you are an investor considering US market, and because of this report and it says that USD is going to drop, and then you don't want to deploy in the US market, I think that is like going to be a huge mistake.
Yeah, correct. I think the government also won't want to be so strong with the US dollar.
Okay.
Right? Because I think Singapore, we still have some export. We still have export business actually, right? High value exports and all this, right? So I think, I think the 1 year or 2 years ago, they came out a video on the MAS on how they control the currency. It's always with a basket. If the Singapore dollar get too strong, they will weaken it. When it's get too weak, it will strengthen it. Then it always maintain at the balance line and all this. So I think our government knows what to do and to balance the situations.
China also do this with the control currency. Trump will say it's manipulative. I think every country manipulate their own currencies in a certain way, right?
Okay. All right. So I think the MAS basically will decide the value of the Singapore dollars. Singapore dollar. And maybe it could hit parity, maybe not. It's not up to. I mean, it's a long way away. And even like that, during the hyperinflation that we saw in 2022, 2023, I think in the West, MAS actually intervened the market to control the impact of the inflation in Singapore by strengthening the Sing dollar, and that itself actually helps Singapore as a whole, because the inflation, you don't really see the sky high prices. Like we didn't have hyperinflation in Singapore, right?
Yeah,
just
in the way it's like
it was hyper to you.
It could have gone to the high single digit kind of inflation, at that time without that control.
But I like their control because I go overseas, it's cheaper.
A lot of places are a lot cheaper. Put it that way.
And especially if and during the event also, the speaker actually told me that I think the messier the world out there, Singapore will benefit.
Safe haven. So that's going to strengthen our currency. And basically boost our stock market as well.
Correct. I mean, of course, if in the event that this really happen, right? I think Singapore, generally the export companies listed in Singapore may not benefit that much because they are exporting. But those like finance company, they may benefit because I think more capital will start pouring into Singapore, and they will be capturing the AUM and all this.
So one of the main highlight also is that Singapore, I think, is a market where there's actually quite a plenty of dividend stock, and right now at the time of this report that was actually released, that Singapore has the highest yield among the developed market, and it is one of the lowest in terms of valuation. And I think the second lowest, the lowest is actually Hong Kong. Which is also the reason why we are also in the Hong Kong market, right? And then also Singapore is the second lowest in terms of valuation, right? And yield is also one of the highest.
All right. So at this point, I think the chart was showing that valuation is about average right now. So they're about average. Okay, so it's quite reasonable. But of course, again, market cycle is going to happen the next 5 years to 10 years, or even the next 50 years. We don't know where we go.
But you also need to know that the Singapore STI is right now is at the average mark. It's based on the past. The past 10 years, right? But a lot of the companies in the STI, right, have evolved, right? So actually the averages, right, the probability of the averages moving forward, right, will go up higher actually.
Because the SLI business model, more recurring kind of revenue.
The report also talk about, I think, some of the Singapore tech companies like Grab and even the C Limited, right? If they were able to list here in Singapore, that could help to boost the leading front of the technology for the STI itself. Okay,
so we've mentioned a lot of things. I think if you actually want to learn more about it, just go read the report. It's a good report to read.
It's a good report to read. And it talks about also real estate in Singapore. If you are investing in property market, you will want to read that.
Okay, so I think a lot of people will be interested in that as well. So go read the report, and we just want to summarize some of the key points, and of course what the article mentioned, the Straits Times article mentioned as well. So I think we want to summarize it now, like wrap it up. So what should you do as an investor? I think you mentioned one of those things is basically don't like divest your US assets just because of that. Because the US is still a growing economy and all that.
They are still the best growing. They still have the best companies that is growing very fast, right? The growth will actually cover up the depreciation. Right? You worry is when the the companies are not growing, and the depreciation happen. That's the most worrier cases that we don't want to be in.
Then on the local side, if you're into Singapore stocks, it's a good thing. Yeah, like it looks rosy.
We will hit 10,000 just when. It's just a bit matter of question, because the world is run on inflation, right?
Yeah.
Generally, prices will just keep going up. Same thing for property, same thing for stock. You hit there just when, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, valuations in Singapore are still reasonable. Some of the REITs have very decent yields.
Yeah.
The STI is
Banks,
average.
So and they are transforming also.
So a lot of I guess opportunities in that sense. And hopefully, I mean not hopefully, but things will continue to look good for the Singapore economy. Yeah, it's good for us as well. All right, so I think that's pretty much what we wanted to cover. Yeah, okay, so if you have any questions about this, you want to discuss this, if you read the report, that's good as well. Put that in the comment section. We'll happy to have a conversation with you. And of course, if you like this roundtable, just hit the like button. And of course, subscribe to our channel. Many more roundtables come up, and we'll see you again.